Anthony Michael Hall is just a teen from Iowa visiting L.A. until he picks up the wrong bag at the airport. Out of Bounds, next on HBO.
Unrelenting, unforgettable, America Undercover. This month, one of the most chilling interviews you'll ever see.
It really surprised me when I took his head off.
The Iceman, a cold, ruthless killer.
If you mess with me, I'll hurt you.
The Iceman, a mob killer tracked by police for years, who confessed to the brutal deaths of over 100 victims, but felt no remorse.
Nothing haunts me.
The Iceman, he lived a double life. Loving husband and father by day.
We were the all-American family.
Contract killer by night. A real-life Jekyll and Hyde.
I was even an altar boy.
He's nothing more than a predator on human beings.
Now, for the first time ever, HBO takes you behind bars and inside the mind of one of the most notorious killers of our time.
Good guys do finish last.
An America Undercover exclusive. The Iceman tapes. Conversations with a Killer. Premieres Tuesday night at 10 on HBO.
It's the HBO opening night with Steven Seagal in the premiere of Out for Justice. He'll tell you about shaping a hero, punching up a story, cutting the action, shooting on the gritty streets of Brooklyn. It all starts at 7:45 p.m., just before the premiere of Out for Justice, followed by a boxing doubleheader when Foreman takes on Stewart live. Then it's back to Seagal in Hard to Kill. It's a hard-hitting night of action when the tough get going on Saturday, April 11th at 7:45 p.m., just before the premiere of Out for Justice. Steven Seagal and HBO's opening night.
He's graced the stage of Carnegie Hall, blazed a trail through New Jersey, and made the grade on the college tour. Now, George Carlin is coming home to New York City at the Paramount Theater at Madison Square Garden. What? You've seen him do the unbelievable, say the unspeakable, but this time at the Paramount, the question is, what'll he do live? It could only happen here. George Carlin is live at the Paramount, the HBO Comedy Hour. We're talking serious comedy. It's good for you. George Carlin live at the Paramount, Saturday, April 25th on HBO.
It's the most happening scene in town, and only HBO can take you there. We got our host Martin Lawrence, and everybody going crazy with more comedy over the edge. We're getting down with a new jam this week, and the hippest people are in the house checking them out.
Tell me, do you lie? What you say? Nope.
We're kicking it on the Russell Simmons Def Comedy Jam. A new jam premieres Friday at midnight on HBO. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm giving a surprise party Sunday night. Can you come?
The biggest womanizer in town is about to be taught a lesson.
Unbelievable.
Now he's a man trapped in a woman's body.
I can't think with all this hair.
And a woman trapped in a man's world.
I'm sick and tired of being treated like a piece of meat.
Jimmy Smits.
I really want to go to bed with you.
Ellen Barkin. Switch. Premieres Sunday, April 19th on HBO.
Dennis the Thriller Miller, Pound'em Paula Poundstone, Paul the Rock Rodriguez, and more. It's the night of the comedy heavyweights, live in Comic Relief 5. All the top comedians in every class, including headliners Billy Crystal, Whoopi Goldberg, and Robin Williams, plus new contenders rising to the challenge. They're primed, they're pumped, they're ready to make you laugh. More punchlines will be thrown and landed than in any other comedy event of the century. It will crush your funny bone. Comic Relief 5. It promises to be an all-out comedy brawl. On the night of the comedy heavyweights, anything can happen and will. You'll laugh till it hurts. You'll laugh till it helps the homeless. When the champions of comedy meet, it's the homeless that win. Comic Relief 5, the comedy event of the century, live Saturday, May 16th on HBO.
Jack Ruby was a tough dude. He was a bouncer. On the drop of a hat, you say something bad to him, you bust your nose.
Jack Ruby, wire service scams, racetrack swindles, fence slot machines, hot check bets, guns in and out of Cuba. Little narcotics now and again.
Add to that the killing of the infamous Lee Harvey Oswald in 1963. And you've got the life story of a little-known gangster from Dallas. Danny Aiello stars as Ruby, the man who walked into a Dallas police station and changed the course of history.
I recall vividly when I was shooting it. For some reason, it didn't have the historical value to me. It didn't devastate me. I didn't once say, wow, I can't believe here I am walking the same steps that Jack Ruby did on the way down in this police station and eventually shooting Oswald. It never really affected me that much. And I think the reason that happened is because, as I recall, in 1963, to me, Jack Ruby was a hero. I mean, when he blew this guy away, to me, it was like poetic justice.
They're gonna ask for the chair. Now, you got to plead insane.
All of Dallas says I'm a hero. I'll walk, Frank.
Ruby, which deals with the events leading up to the slaying of Oswald, also asks the big question, did Oswald kill JFK?
I still think he killed him. And I'll believe the Warren Commission until a better theory comes along. But I believe it was a single guy. That's Danny Aiello speaking. I mean, everywhere we turn, there's a conspiracy. Marilyn Monroe got killed by 19 guys. I mean, do you realize we got lawyers, ambulance chasers running around for 30 years who never had a case in their life, who are making a living? They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year being called JFK assassination theorists? I never heard of such a title. What is that? Is that a professorship?
Although Aiello personally disagrees with assassination theorists, he admits Ruby, like the controversial film JFK, does take creative license.
You get the CIA off of my back.
Castro? Forget Castro, Ruby. Castro's history.
What?
You changed our plans. We're out of Cuba.
Have you been using me for a patsy?
Castro's history. And so are you.
I don't want you to get the feeling that Ruby is some sort of rip-off of JFK, because the two pictures are distinctly different. One is about an investigation after the fact, where during the fact. And the facts are that Oswald was shot by Ruby. We all saw that on TV.
You think I don't know what happens if someone does a hit like this? He never gets off the boat on the way home.
We're bringing a guy who was involved in the alleged conspiracy and making him a very real, small, slobby, sympathetic character who's taken you through a conspiracy that he himself doesn't even know he's involved in.
Texas is the reliable place. And where is better in this country than Dallas?
Once Danny described Jack as being like a piece of paper that was just scrunched up and thrown out. And so he said, we're picking up this piece of paper, we're opening it and flattening it out, seeing what it has to say.
Sherry Lynn Fenn stars as Candy Kane, a mob girl and stripper who also gets caught up in the conspiracy.
What about the CIA? Nobody say nothing about them. Did the president realize they were trying to kill Castro?
Well, the president said he was going to blow the CIA into a million tiny pieces.
Meantime, the boys are back in Dallas. For what?
What do you people want from me? We just want you to do your duty for your country, Jack.
They killed the president of the United States!
Anthony Michael Hall is just a teen from Iowa visiting L.A. until he picks up the wrong bag at the airport. Out of Bounds, next on HBO.
The plaintiff, Jedediah Tucker Ward.
A father and a daughter.
For the defense, Margaret Eleanor Ward.
And a case that could tear them apart.
Should this circuit have gone into the Meridian?
Objection. Calls for conclusion.
If you want to kill people.
Forever.
People were blown up, sir.
They're using you as a parlor trick.
You're being evasive. I'm answering the questions you're asking. The hell you are!
Did it ever occur to you that I might be a very good attorney?
Well, you damn well better be. I raised you.
Class Action premieres Saturday, April 18th on HBO. Some call it murder. Others call it a freedom. No matter what side you're on, you'll never feel the same way again. Abortion, Desperate Choices, premieres Tuesday, May 5th on HBO.
This is Johnny Carson. I just want to say that
This Wayne's World movies are a little weird. It's a little wild. They got the long hair, and they're sort of a hippie film. And stars Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, and it's apparently pretty funny. I did not know that.
Impressionist Dana Carvey teams up with Mike Myers, his sidekick from the late-night American television show Saturday Night Live, to take their hit skit Wayne's World to the big screen.
It's Wayne's World, party time, excellent.
In Wayne's World, Myers and Carvey play Wayne and Garth, two late-night cable television access hosts who are finally getting their chance at the big time, namely network TV.
What is this?
Mr. Vanderhoff, this is your audience.
It's two chimps on a Davenport in a basement.
Here I am with the contract for $5,000. Excuse me?
Though Wayne and Garth gained widespread popularity on the late-night television show Saturday Night Live, the idea originated with Mike Myers, who says Wayne is a lot like he was as a teen in his native Toronto, Canada.
My name is Wayne Campbell. I live in Aurora, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago. Excellent.
I was like a punk for a while. I was a mod after I saw Quadrophenia, and but I definitely was a suburban heavy metal adolescent for a while, and a lot of my friends were.
When Myers joined the Saturday Night Live troupe in 1989, he asked Carvey to become his basement broadcasting buddy for Wayne's World.
Garth was just, Mike came with Wayne's World and said, you want to be my sidekick? And so I just got the blonde wig and the glasses and used a character that I'd done in my stand-up and on the show based on my brother Brad, this shy kind of techno nerd. Yeah, I could make a nuclear bomb out of a paperclip. That was my brother Brad, and so that's kind of what the soul of Garth is, my brother Brad.
Carvey says his brother is proud to have been the inspiration for Garth.
Well, when they let him out of his cell, he likes it. Kidding, good night. No, Brad loves it, yeah. He's a computer genius type guy, and that's why in the film we made Garth kind of like a MacGyver meets a Stonerhead character.
I love you, Garth.
If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln. Enjoy Garth for all his insecurity and his dysfunctional family and his anal retentive father and his gorgeous mom and all the different feelings and weirdness he grew up with. Garth needs a hug.
Since debuting on Saturday Night Live, Garth and Wayne have coined quite a few phrases.
Not.
And both Carvey and Myers say they're flattered when they hear their fans mimic them on the streets.
Not, you hear sometimes a guy will come up to you and go, we're not worthy, and that just blows the top of your mind up. It's like, why do you remember, you know?
When I first got on the show, I was like, you got to do the lady. You have got to do the lady. You know, like that. Or then people would get the name wrong. Do the religious person, you know, instead of the church lady. So that was the first thing. And then weightlifters are like, yeah, hey, do the weightlifter guy. Yeah, all right. You know, look at your thighs. They're rubbing together so much. They're starting small force files. And then it was that. And yeah, so now people are asking about Garth and Wayne and the whole thing, so.
Unlike the television skit, which took place entirely in the basement of Wayne's house, Wayne's World the movie gives fans a behind-the-scenes glimpse of their girls, their metalhead friends, and their hangouts. Carvey says expanding their 5-minute bit into this 90-minute movie wasn't easy.
When we first finished the film, we cut it together, it was 37 minutes. We thought, oh my God, we need another hour. So we went back out, shot some more, came back, it was like 62 minutes. And Paramount kept saying, it's got to be 90 minutes. We said, all right. And so then we finally got it to 90 minutes. But it is amazing that it really became a movie from a sketch.
But for Myers, taking Wayne's World out of the basement and into the world is a dream come true.
I always wanted to do Wayne as a movie character since I was 12. Or since I'm 12, as my girlfriend from Queens says. I've known her since I'm 12. Anyways, I digress. Sorry. Since I was a little kid, I always wanted to do this as a movie character. And when I got to SNL, the thing about SNL is that you have to, it's essentially a theatrical presentation broadcast live on television, so you have to have one set, and it has to be a certain length of time. So I chose the basement, but I always saw it out in the world.
But what I'd really love is to do Wayne's World for a living. It might happen. Sure.
Anthony Michael Hall is just a teen from Iowa visiting L.A. until he picks up the wrong bag at the airport. Out of Bounds, next on HBO.
In the time of fear and suspicion, his coming was foretold.
You choose to admit your crimes before man and God?
Now he is here. He has the face of an angel, the seduction of a devil, and the powers of a god. Now an enemy from his past and a girl from the present are the only hope for the future.